we're gonna give this thing a go after we've upgraded a lot of things. So it is no longer stock power. Last time we were on this, we were running completely stock everything, and we were teaching people how to wheelie on it. Today, it is modified to a stunter's dream, so we're just gonna touch on that and give her some wheelies and see how she is now compared to then. So right off rip, you can feel all the weight in the rear end, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because it makes it super easy to wheelie, honestly. It's super smooth, the tune is great. Yeah, there's really no complaints with the bike anymore. I mean, other than the brakes, but we'll get to that eventually. So quickly hopping on the street now, we'll see how it works out wheeling on the street. We're going about 10 miles an hour now, and we'll see if it'll pop up. Oh yeah, like nothing. Oh yeah, butter, baby. Oh, this thing is great. For stunting, I don't think you would need anything more than this. I mean, it feels very substantial. The suspension feels really good. Everything feels good about it, except for the brakes, like I said, but we'll get to that eventually. Oh, sit-downs are dangerous. Oh my God, oh my God. It's so much fun. I just gotta get the left to right balance down and I'll be good. Oh yeah. Butter from stock to now. I mean, it is a completely different bike. The smoothness of the power coming in still feels just like factory, which is what you want out of the controller. The bike is super predictable. There's no like jerky motions when you're hitting the throttle. It's just a smooth ramp, and it gives you power when you give it input, which is really good. The brakes do leave a little more to be desired. I'm sure we can fix that with just like a new master cylinder or something, because it is a moto caliper. So if we go with a bigger piston in the master, it should give it a little bit more bite. But yeah, overall, super fun, super smooth. I mean, I would take this thing to work and back, like without question. I mean, I would replace this, replace a moped with this any day of the week. If I could get some of the people that ride mopeds on a daily to try this and just give it an honest chance, granted it doesn't make the cool two-stroke noses that they're used to. If they just gave it an honest chance, I believe that they would add it to their collection. It's not a replacement, but it would be a good addition.
So yeah, stock Ego was actually a pretty enjoyable experience. Nothing compared to a Surron, but it would be sweet just tooling around like a little farm or your house or whatever. It's a great little bike to buy from Lowe's or Home Depot. But now Rick has got some more time and money into this thing, and I'm super excited to try it out. Bigger battery, controller, big screen, all the bells and whistles and lights that it's classic RunPlayBack style. I'll start in mode 1. I mean, it's not like outrageously heavy, but it's way heavier than it was. It's getting into maybe not a good territory for like a little kid to learn on, where the stock Ego was. I will say I'm pretty short and my knees are like getting kind of close to the bars. It's all pretty scrunched, but we'll see how it feels riding around. So I'll just start out in mode 1. I've got my infotainment center here in front of me, and we'll just kick off. You know, I can blip the throttle and nothing happens really, It's kind of like an antique moped almost, or I guess a modern moped, where there's not much there. Like, it feels very controllable and comfortable, intuitive, good for a starter moped or teaching somebody. You're not gonna loop this thing, you're not gonna do anything crazy. I don't know what the top speed is, but it feels great. Okay, mode 3, we got a little straightaway. Whoa, okay. Okay, so you blip the throttle, it's not harsh. It's not a harsh, like, torquey takeoff in the sense of like popping the front wheel up, but The best way to describe the power on this thing is it's like a turbocharger on a car. There's like not a whole lot leading into it, and then you hit the power band, you hit that turbo, and oh my God, does it take off? This is the smoothest riding bike I've ever been on, and I'm sure a lot of that is just because of the hub motor. Like, hub motors are just, it's a direct drive. Like, there's no chain, there's no noise, there's no vibrations, there's no fussing about. The power is right on the wheel that you're turning. Like, oh my gosh, this thing is just so much fun. I'm gonna do another rip down this road here. It's so controllable, but there's so much power too. Like, I'm just gone. We gotta do a 0 to 60 on this thing, because it's no joke. I mean, we got a built Surron there. I'm sure it would keep up, but part of me wonders, like, maybe this would take the Surron. I don't know. Final thoughts is I want to take this thing home and have this be my city commuter, I guess. Like, the Surron's great, but there's something to be said for just a really quiet, compact, maneuverable, nimble little ripper. I mean, it's a proper moped to get around town, but it could do nearly highway speeds, like, pretty comfortably. Not that I would ever take it on the highway, but this thing is great. It's so much fun. We got to talk about rotating mass. So on the Surron, there's pretty much, in comparison, no rotating mass. The motor's obviously mid-drive, and so the back end is incredibly light. Tire is pretty light, rim's super light. There's just not much here. And you feel that so much in the bike, making it just incredibly maneuverable, and like, you can tip it over so easy. I've ridden full like street motorcycles, like Harley Davidsons and stuff, and you are planted like straight up and down. Like, the gyroscopic effect just keeps you very, very upright. Now on this, I'm not saying we're Harley Davidson level, but you've got a 30, 40 pound motor that's spinning really fast, and that's a ton of rotating mass, where a Harley has like a big engine and flywheel and all that stuff that's rotating, keeping you upright, giving you the gyroscopic effect. This is getting closer to that, so it feels like a way bigger bike than the Surron, in my opinion, but it's tiny, and it's not that heavy in the grand scheme of things, but you got a ton of weight flying around in the rear, and it's just such a planted bike for being mini. It's cool. It's a very unique experience, and I love this thing.
Surron London here in Ann Arbor. London, you didn't try the stock version, so this is your first time on this bike. Do you want to give it a go?
Yeah, I'm down.
How's that feel?
So it's smooth. Throttle's like really smooth. Doesn't feel like it's got a chain, because it literally doesn't. Brakes need upgrading. EV Raceworks motor brakes maybe.
It's a lot heavier than the stock, so what do you feel about the weight? Is it too heavy?
I don't think it's too heavy. It could be a little bit lighter, but like, you can still wheelie in a straight line without falling side to side, so I think the weight is perfect. Really fun to wheelie this thing, because it's so small. It makes it a lot easier. It gets a bit wobbly. I feel like the bars could be a bit wider. brakes. Takes all 4 fingers to lock them up though. So smooth. Fast as well. Yeah, I like it. It's really smooth. Do get a bit of side to side wobble, but I feel like it could do with wider bars. It'll make it a bit easier to control. Brakes need upgrading, like I said. Other than that though, like it's got good forks, got good rear suspension, got nothing else to say about it really.